everyone. I'm going to take a little bit of time here to go over the homework items for week 3 and explain what you need to do to complete each one. So the first item that you're going to see under week 3 homework assignments is to read chapter 4. As we've learned, we just really need to skim it over. If you're going through the lessons in the weekly module, then you probably don't need to spend a whole lot of time going over the chapter. But it is there to help reinforce what we've learned during the week. The next item you'll see listed is the week 3 journal. So if you remember, starting this week, the journals now correspond directly to the previous week's discussion. So when you click on week 3 journal and go to assignment, the assignment instructions will appear, and you'll see up at the top is a video called Week 2 Discussion Follow-Up. In that video, I go over the families and phone poster that you looked at for the Week 2 discussion. So know that you're going to need to watch that video before you complete the journal prompt. Once you have watched the video, that's what it's telling you to do in step 1. Once you've watched the video, you move to step 2, and there are 4 questions that you're going to answer after you have watched the video. Remember, if you somehow ended up missing the week 2 discussion and you didn't post to it, the image that we looked at is down at the bottom of the instructions. So you can now look at it and then watch the follow-up video. So you can still participate in this journal. So once you've watched the follow-up video, the 4 questions that you're actually going to answer and submit for this journal assignment are: was there anything surprising about the information presented in the follow-up lesson? Or was it right on track with what you had answered in your discussion? Question 2, do you agree or disagree with the information that I presented in the follow-up video? And why do you agree or disagree? Question 3, do you think there's more to the story? Do you think there's more to consider and analyze? Did I leave anything out? And sometimes I do. Not necessarily because I didn't think about it, but because just time, I'm focusing on the most important things, the bigger elements of the argument, and then I don't always have time to get to those smaller elements of the argument. So certainly if you noticed something that I didn't really address in the follow-up video, here's your chance to bring it up and talk about it, right? And then there actually are times where students come up with, an interpretation, or they have comments about the image that I didn't think about. So this is a fun moment to kind of, I'm not the final authority on every element of these images. So there might be something that you can add to this analysis. And then question 4, how has the week 2 discussion and watching the follow-up video, how has it helped you understand argument in a new way? Or how has it strengthened your knowledge of argument? So those are the 4 questions you need to answer. It's a journal entry, so you'll type it in the text box, right? And it's due Sunday night by 11:59. If you have any questions or run into any problems, let me know. The next item for homework this week is on fallacies. So when you get to the instructions for this assignment, you're going to see that it needs to be done in a Word document or a PDF. I have attached a file to the instructions that has all the questions, so you can use that as your template. Or you can create your own Word document, use a PDF, Google Docs. If none of those are available to you, reach out to me and we will come up with another plan. But for this assignment, you're going to see a word bank at the top with a bunch of different types of fallacies, logical fallacies listed. And then you're going to see 12 sentences, 12 statements listed. Your job is to identify which logical fallacy is presented in each statement. And you've got your word bank there to choose from. Each one's only used once. There'll be no duplicates, right? So once you figured out which statement is an ad hominem, you won't use ad hominem as an answer again. So if you come to another statement and you're like, oh, that's also ad hominem, they both can't be ad hominem. So you got to figure that out. But it's pretty, I won't say it's easy because it's, these are new terms for most of us. We don't have them memorized, I would imagine. Maybe a couple of them that we've heard of before. So I won't say it's easy in that respect, but just the concept of the assignment itself is pretty easy. You have a word bank. Each word will only be used once to fill in the blanks for each sentence, right? If you're not sure, definitely refer back to the lesson in the week 2 or week 3 module about fallacies. There's a list of these also in the chapter. Okay. It's due Sunday at 11:59. If you have any questions or run into any problems, let me know. The next item for homework this week is on the opposition, considering the opposition. So again, this isn't a Word document. The file is attached to the assignment instructions if you'd like to use it as your template. If you don't have Word, PDF, or can't use Google Docs, reach out to me so we can come up with another plan. For this assignment though, you're going to see 2 debatable questions listed, question 1 and question 2. For both issues, you're going to do both. You need to state your position on that issue as a claim. Remember, a claim is one single sentence, right? You're going to list several reasons to support your claim, and then you're going to list 1 or 2 points of view that oppose your own, and then you're going to make a concession to the opposition, right? Remember, a concession is where you say, you know what, I disagree with you, but you do bring up a good point here, right? I still think my point of view is more correct. My evidence is stronger, but you make a valid point there. That is what's called making a concession. So your first issue that you're going to work with, it says, does the government have a right to know what a citizen is smoking? So the first thing you got to do is state your position on this issue. Yes, the government has a right to know what a citizen is smoking, or no, the government does not have a right to know what a citizen is smoking, right? And then a few reasons why you feel this way. If you feel like the government does have a right to know what we're smoking, what are the reasons why you think they have that right? If you don't think they have that right, what are a few reasons why you think they don't have that right? And then 1 or 2 opposing views. There might only just be 1, but maybe 2. So obviously, if you think that the government does have a right, one opposing point of view is those who think the government doesn't, right? What are their points of view? And then make a concession to them, right? So for instance, if I were working with the issue of, let's see, I don't know, whether or not kids should be allowed to carry their backpacks around school, right? Now let's say I think, yes, students should be allowed to carry their backpacks around school with them to every class. It makes, sometimes they don't have enough time to go back to their lockers in between classes. Sometimes it's hard to carry, binders and books and pens and, a lot of times nowadays students are also carrying around Chromebooks and all sorts of different things that aren't easy to carry through the halls. So that would be one reason why they need to have their backpacks. Plus there's not enough time, like I said. So obviously the opposition's point of view would be, no, students should not be able to carry their backpacks from class to class. Their backpacks need to stay in their locker, and they need to carry everything they need to their classes. Because having so many backpacks, possibly in the aisles, creates a safety issue. And I might say, you know what, you make a good point there. I can see why having, all the students having their backpacks, especially if they're just leaving them in the aisles, could create a safety issue because people might be tripping over them. That's a good point. However, maybe there's a designated place in the classroom for students to put their backpacks. Or maybe they have to be required to hang them over the back of their chair. Something like that. That would be making a concession. You make a good point. However, that's a concession. So you're going to do that for that first issue. The second issue, you're going to do it the same way, but this issue is, should school cafeterias stop using styrofoam plates or cups? So your position is either going to be, yes, they should stop using styrofoam, or no, they shouldn't. And then go through the reasons, the opposition, make a concession. If you have any questions, let me know, but don't make this harder than it really is supposed to be. Okay? Just pick your side of the issue and go from there. But if you do have any questions, let me know. The last item for homework this week is the week 3 discussion. So this week you're going to be looking at another advertisement, and this one is for Dove body wash. Alright, so remember, you're going to click on week 3 discussion, and then on the middle part of the screen, go to discussion. Once the discussion prompt appears on your screen, you're going to need to click on the blue title, Dove advertisement. When you click on that, the screen will refresh, you'll see the discussion, and underneath then you'll see the link to start a thread. Click on that, and then you'll have the text box where you can type in your responses. So for this week, you're looking at a Dove body wash ad. You can see the image there. The words, the text at the bottom might not be too easy to read, so I have it here in bold right above the image, so you can read what it says, because you want to think about that too when you're answering your questions. Alright, so take a look at the image, study it, read what I have there in bold, what's at the bottom of the advertisement, and then answer the questions. It's the same exact questions from week 2. It's just a different advertisement. So, what is the issue being presented? How would you state the claim? Remember, it should be a single sentence. Who do you think is the intended audience? Do you detect any assumptions? And remember, assumptions, we're talking about what the creators of this ad assumed about us as viewers. What do they assume about us? What do they think we believe? What do they think we feel? Right? What do they think? Who do they think we are? What do we value? What do we want? What do they assume about us? Question 5, what reasons or evidence are given? So look for ethos, look for pathos, look for logos, look for any kind of the logical types of evidence. So the SICTADs, sign, induction, cause, analogy, all of those. Question 6, what makes the argument interesting or effective? Or not interesting and ineffective? And do you have any additional comments or questions? Try to have your first post up by Thursday night so that everyone has plenty of options to choose from to respond to 2 classmates, and make sure you do that before the discussion closes Sunday night at 11:59. If you have any questions or run into technical difficulties with the discussion, let me know right away. If you have any problems with any of the homework for this week, let me know and I will do whatever I can to help you out. Otherwise,